And by you thinking that you hold the truth, the ultimate truth, it doesn't mean that somebody else's truth is not valid. Because again, we're talking about a different perspective, different realities, different vibrations. Welcome to the Effortlessly Abundant Life podcast. I'm Natalia, a certified hypnotherapist and a mindset shifter. Not too long ago, I was a broke, burned out, multi-passionate single woman to now making six figures effortlessly, marrying the love of my life and attracting what I want by using my unique bridge method. I'm here to help you achieve the results you want in any area of your life by owning your true unique self with less doing, less stress, and definitely less effort. Now let's jump to today's episode in 3, 2, 1. Hello, my gorgeous souls, and welcome to another episode of Effortlessly Abundant Life. I can't even tell you how excited I am because a week from now, we're going to start our exclusive 3-day online event called Break the Matrix. So if you are not aware of this, you should definitely join us for free. It's going to be 3 days. We're going to actually come into Zoom together. It's not going to be a webinar. It's going to be a live call with me where you're going to be able to interact and also ask questions live, and us talking and creating a discussion, creating this space for us to really understand what is actually happening in the world right now. So if you're confused with what is going on, things are absolutely crazy. The world is falling apart financially, politically, globally. Just everything feels like everything is collapsing around us, and you want to get clarity. And maybe you have understanding what's going on, but you know what? You just feel so scared that money that you work so hard is going to be taken away from you. You fear that you're not safe. You fear that you're not going to be able to survive what's coming. Or you just don't know how to break the matrix because it's so ingrained in you. You don't even know how to handle freedom or how to actually create the life that you really want without all those things that distracted us for years and years and years and years. So if you want to know, go check our free event for free, as I said, because this is going to be life-changing and so, so crucial. And the episode that we're going to talk about today is one of the reasons why I wanted to be in a group setting, because I want you to see how you're not alone and how you actually have people that understand you, that gets you, that know what's going on, that speak the same language, and we're not the weirdos, okay? We're not the like something is wrong with us. No. So go ahead, sign up. All the details are in the show notes below. But today we're going to talk about how to deal with family members, friends, people that were really close to you, where now, because you've gone through this awakening, right, personally, and also as a collective, right, you feel this sense of you don't see reality as what other people see. You just see reality in a completely different way. And your opinions and your view of life is so different from those people. And it's one thing when it's, on X, somebody one believe one thing and then you believe something else, and it's okay, right? But when it comes to your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your spouse, or your children, or your best friends, it feels this really painful tear and separation and sense of loneliness when you are going through this awakening. And I want to give you guys today some perspective. I channel source before coming to this podcast to really give you sources perspective, which going to give us as humans, right, to really understand things from above, not from a very close and microscopical way, but more the macro. So I know how hard it is because I've been through it myself, right? Friends and people that I used to be best friends with and like talk on the phone every day, all day, and people that, even my parents, right? They don't think how I think. Although they've been through communism and they lived in a very, let's put it that way, very extreme poverty and lack of freedom and everything, they still hold on to the matrix for dear life, still seeing things, but still choosing to not see things, right? So knowing that and seeing that, one of the things that I felt at the beginning, I felt like, oh my God, I feel so lonely. I feel like I can't have a conversation with these people without feeling like I'm going to trigger them, or, I can't say what I feel. I have to like, be very, very mindful of what I say and how I say things. And for instance, if I would like, and it's interesting because the other way around, they don't feel that way, right? They can say whatever they want, but when you say it, they cannot handle it, right? It's very interesting. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when, a lot of people that feel very strongly about a certain topic, um, and you feel that differently, and you let them speak, and they say it with so much passion, right? And you listen to them, and then when you speak about it, um, they kind of cut you down right away, and like, no, 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 this is not how it is. Like, come on. And they get very, very offensive and very, very passionate about it. And it's very interesting how now, because I know kind of sources more of that third kind of observation of the situation to understand why people feel that way. And when you know sources truth and you know this other perspective, you can see things in a completely different way. So you have so much more compassion. And I want to bring this to you guys so you don't feel like you're the weirdo, that is something is wrong with you, feeling like so freaking lonely and you don't know how to go through life, how to have relationship, how to hold on to the relationship you have. Like, it's one thing when you have friends, okay, you kind of like grow apart, happens all the time. But what do you do with your spouse? What do you do with your mom? What do you do with your best friend? Like, you can't just not talk, right? It's like something that happens. And I want you to see how truly you hold the power. So one thing we have to understand, and this is source's truth, that you have to remember the law of freedom, the law of choice. Every soul chooses what they want to go through and what they want to believe and pursue. You cannot override anybody's personal choice of what they think and what they want to do. You just cannot. Therefore, there's multiple lives. There's multiple lives. And I talk about on my upcoming signature program. But you have to understand that the purpose of you coming to as a human being is to raise your consciousness, to ascend and hold more light, aka more source in you, to come into the realm where source is. Right now, we're in the realm three. We are moving to realm fifth, which is really, really freaking cool. It's a big leap. So the shaking of the earth and what we're going through right now is because earth is no longer vibrating in a lower frequency, it's actually moving into higher frequency. In order to do that, it needs to have as a collective more of that consciousness vibration higher to match that new consciousness fifth dimension that the earth needs to be in. That's why we have so much adversity. That's why we have so much coming, not only on the global level, but also personally. How many of you been through so much in the past 5, 7 years? Like so much, right? so much losses, so much fear, so much losing your job, health issues, like big things that change you to the core. And that is not a bad thing. That is how you enter more light in you. That's how you raise your consciousness. Now, the where people get tripped up is when they feel, well, now I'm on this. I'm, I'm on a higher consciousness because I've been through so much. I see things differently. Is looking at the person that is not been through, like his soul was not ready to go through these lessons and erase their consciousness as less of you. This is what we call the spiritual ego. You're not better because you're now awakened. You're not better than the person near you that thinks that hoax are 100% okay and all the things that the woke the woke movement is all about. It doesn't make them less of you. You have to understand that. And that is what I'm really want you to be mindful of, because so many of you could get to the point where they hold an agenda, they hold this box, they hold this identity. And once they're literally ready to kill anybody around them that does think this way because they feel significant. They feel better about themselves. They feel they know more. But this is not how consciousness and how soul as collection it works. It just doesn't. Every consciousness, every vibration that the person is in is good. It's not good or bad. It's just what is. Guess what? You think you're waking now? There is more to be awakened to. So what, are you going to dismiss the version that you're now? Or you're going to dismiss the version that you were 10, 15 to 20 years ago when you were completely asleep in the matrix? That is not fair. So you have to honor everybody's journey in their own specific place, in their own vibration. That's what their soul wanted to learn and they're ready to learn in this lifetime. And that is hard. It's hard because you love those people so much and you want them to see the truth. And you're showing them the videos, you're telling them facts, you're telling them absolutely everything that, a person with eyes and ears and few cells in their brain could really make the conclusion. But for them, they're not ready. They're not ready to see the truth. That's why please stop convincing people they are not awakened yet. If you're not awakened after those 5 years, you're not ready. And that is totally okay. Maybe you need multiple lifetimes to learn to become a match to this reality. And again, there's no better or worse. You're just where you are, and that's fine. You can compare an high school student, although I hate school system, right? I'm not talking about the school system, but just want you to understand this analogy where somebody in the 12th grade doesn't mean they're better from somebody who's in their first grade. They're just completely different. And you can't compare apples to pears, right? They're just separate. They're completely different and they're good for what they are in that particular time. So honor the law of freedom. Honor their choice of not going to the next realm, not going with what you feel is the truth. And I'm going to trip you even more because I think you're ready for this. And if you're listening to this, you're ready for this. Because you understand that everything is not about good or bad. And here's the thing. You can have multiple truths at once. You can have multiple truths at once because if you understand there's multiple realities that can coexist at the same time, you can absolutely understand there can be multiple truths at once. It's just a question of what vibration those truths are in. So again, with so much compassion, so much love, and so much understanding that they can be true and whatever they believe can be true, because nothing is about true or false. It's like everything is a perception all the time. We're just, because we're raising our consciousness, we are seeing things in a completely different light. Therefore, we can completely figure out and see things from a different angle. And we're questioning, by us questioning, we can really get into the bottom of what is true. But everything in the end of the day is perspective. And when you understand that, you can also honor the fact there can be multiple truths. I'm going to say something that hopefully is not going to trigger a lot of you. But even if you against transgenders and crossing and, changing your gender, you have to understand that it's important for us. And it was actually really good for us, because why? It actually deepened our femininity and also connecting us deeper into our masculine. Because how we would know what we are and really embody our feminine side and who we are as women and who we are as men, if we didn't see this person that I start questioning the gender and say, well, I think there is multiple genders, and that's not like only feminine and masculine, right? If we didn't have somebody that would question that and bring this whole thing, we would not be in touch in this whole conversation about being more in your feminine and being more in your masculine. It would not even appear. So you see how everything is important and everything has its importance and approval to exist. Everything has the approval to exist. And by you thinking that you hold the truth, the ultimate truth, it doesn't mean that somebody else's truth is not valid. Because again, we're talking about a different perspective, different realities, different vibrations. And we all been there. So don't forget that you also vibrate in a certain frequency, that was your truth. You have to understand that. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, join our 3-day free Break the Matrix event. It's all in the show notes to join for free, because we're going to go deep. We're going to go deep. How to be a leader in your life, how to listen to intuition, how to raise your consciousness so you can get more into the real source's truth and how to really enter that. It's really fucking cool, I have to tell you. And as I said, you cannot convince a person that is not ready to hear the truth. If you would tell me years ago, right? Like, why would you get poke? If you know what I'm saying. Why would you of course, I totally believe in science. I totally believe in doctors, and I totally believe in a system. I would not even question it. Whatever the doc told me, I would do, and I'll be on schedule, and I'll take every freaking shot I can. Now, there's no way. There's no way. You would not convince me otherwise, because I'm no longer in that frequency. But back then, if you would tell me this is bad for me and there's all kinds of things in there and it's not good for my health and it's all these things, I was like, you are nuts. Don't talk to me. Get out. You're just a spiritual woohoo. Bye. I don't want to listen, right? I get it. I get it. I was not ready there. I was not ready to listen, because there has to be certain events in my life for me to be able to even comprehend the power of me able, and my body knowing how to heal itself, knowing the power of my mindset, knowing my power of my energy, knowing the power of my intuition. You have to understand that there is certain things that need to happen in order for a person to even comprehend it and actually internalize and understand it. So I hope it makes sense. Now, one of the things that I hear a lot from people that's like, I don't know how I'm going to go back to my woke home when my spouse is like believes all these things, and my daughter thinks a certain way and I can't even talk through her senses. You have to understand, again, as I said, you have to respect their freedom of choice and really see how they're perfect for where they are right now and love them unconditionally, because the way you experiencing them is how you experiencing yourself. And we're going to talk about it deeply in our 3-day workshop, because everything is a reflection of you. Okay, nothing lives outside of you. The fact that you're aware of this, the fact that it's in your consciousness, you are experiencing this, has to be something in you. There's certain ingredients in you that are a match for this. This is science. This is not woohoo. This is real. So how you see that, it's a reflection for you to heal something within you. But if you're not accepting them for where they are right now and loving them unconditionally for who they are and what they choose to do or not do right now, you're also not approving and you're not choosing and you're not loving unconditionally yourself. That is just the truth. And until you don't see that, until you don't see their perfection, you're not seeing your own perfection. And that is what's the whole point of a soul. Love, God, source loves you unconditionally. Unconditionally. You can now kill people in the streets and source God will love you no matter what. You can help people in the streets and God would love you the same way, like the person would kill somebody in the street. It doesn't matter. God doesn't love somebody more or less than somebody else. So why are you being the judge of loving somebody else more, or being feeling like you can talk to them easily and it's just easier for you, right? But it's harder when somebody triggers you and thinks something else from you. Can you offer the same love to them? That is the work. That is true awakening. It's not holding signs and saying slogans and kind of like, it's deeper than that, guys. Go deeper. Your soul is here to love itself unconditionally as source. If you don't love yourself unconditionally and you don't love everybody unconditionally, no matter what, you're not there yet, which is fine because we're not supposed to be. If we were love unconditionally all of ourselves and everybody around us, we will all be in realm 7, but we're not. We're not there yet. But that is the journey of the soul. That is the journey of the soul. That I can tell you that if you were a person that got a lot of significance and attention and love from kind of being with around a lot of people, and let's say after COVID, sitting at home for 2 freaking years, you start to see things differently. You start to like, oh my God, I actually love being by myself. And these people kind of drain me, and I'm like into other things, and you like start seeing other things and you start going to the rabbit hole and all these things start to kind of come to you, but you're like, oh my God, I feel lonely. I feel like I don't have as many friends anymore, and I feel like I don't like what how do I find my friends? Well, number one, join the free event because you're going to meet like-minded people, which is awesome. But the one thing I want you to remember, that again, everything that we want in our life is a reflection. So when you are in the 3D, right, you got your attention and you got the self of the feeling of connection, because everything that we want in the end of the day is a feeling. So if you got the feeling of connection by being surrounded by people, you got the sense of community by being surrounded with people, and it was taken away from you, not taking away from, but you kind of felt like there is this, you can't be with them anymore. Now you're going to see how you actually getting the connection you truly wanted, which is connection to yourself and source, because you're part of source, you're extension of source, by being with yourself. And I want you to know that it's okay that you don't have a lot of friends. It's okay if you're not surrounded by a full entourage that's follow you everywhere and you're like Miss Popular. Like, it's not about that. Everything you want in the end of the day is the feeling. So you would get the feeling from the 3D of the external, right? You would get that by the people. But now when you are kind of more aware, you understand like, holy shit, I want the connection, but I don't really get it from my friends anymore. So now your job is to find the connection within yourself first. And know that it's okay. You're not going to get it from outside anymore, because that is not the point. As I said, everything is a reflection of you. And everything is actually a reflection of how you are in a relationship with yourself. I know. It's freaking wild. It's crazy. But I want to, because I know needs to hear this, because you think something is wrong with you, and there is something wrong, the fact that you don't have as many friends anymore, and you're not as popular anymore, and you kind of like actually enjoy being alone, and you're feeling like, wait, but I'm gonna die if I'm gonna be alone. Nobody's gonna like me. But the truth of the matter is, you have to understand, and if you think about it, it makes total sense, because back in the days, and I'm talking thousands of years ago, when mankind was at its primarily evolution, we had to survive. And the way we had to survive was being in a pack, right? The more you're gathering, the more power you have. By the way, same thing today. But literally in the survival, like you had to protect one another, create as a community, cook food, take care of one another as a community. You cannot be separate, right? If you are going alone, most likely you're going to be eaten by some kind of animal, or something going to happen to you. You're not going to be able to supply food for yourself and shelter and blah, 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 blah. So that instinct, it was still up to the third realm, onto the third dimension. That's why we honored like being part of the pack, especially in high school, and being the popular person, being the person that has a lot of people around them, right? Because our survival mind still honor that. But what happens when you're awakening, you're no longer in need to have that, because you actually feel the connection and you feel whole with yourself by yourself. And that is a good thing. That is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because that's the whole purpose. When you feel whole with yourself, with your thoughts, with your being, with yourself, and you feel like you have the whole world and you're happy, that is a good thing. It doesn't make you a weirdo or something is wrong with you because you don't have 500 friends. So, the number one thing is stop beating yourself down. Stop comparing yourself to the old version of you that is no longer exist anymore. It's done. Exists, but not now. So let it go and really honor and find the connection that you seek from other and the validation you seek from others. Give it to yourself first, because all the matrix is, and that convinced us that everything we want we can get it externally, right? The matrix convinced us if we want more freedom, we need to have more money, right? So we could be in this race of earning more money, but the more money we had more obligations, we had more responsibilities, we actually lack more freedom. We have certain freedom, but it was not guaranteed as freedom, because the freedom is not the money. The freedom is a mindset. It's a change of perception. It's actually feeling free right now before you're getting the money. You see how everything is backwards. So the matrix convinced us that everything that we want is actually external. And then we feel whole. And now it just doesn't resonate with us as humankind, because we know it's not true, because we tried it for thousands of years and we're still miserable. So now it came to the point of the peak where enough is enough. We cannot have anything external to give us what we need to give ourselves first. So I just want to make sure I'm looking at my notes that I covered everything. And I did. But I hope it resonates with you. You understand that everything is as it should be. Nothing is wrong with any of your friends. Nothing is wrong with your spouse. Nothing is wrong with anything you have in your person in your life. And when you truly accept them for who they are and where they are right now, with deep love and compassion, and you don't try to change them, and you just accept them for who they are, you actually giving yourself the biggest gift into them. And that is the biggest thing you can do for them if you truly love them. It's not educating them. It's not telling them the truth. It's not trying to convince them X, Y, and Z. It's actually accepting them for who they are. That is the biggest awakening and the biggest gift, because you love them so much. That is the biggest thing you can do from a place of love. And that is actually helping the frequency of the planet to go even higher, more than knowing the truth. So I hope it makes sense. And I hope it kind of brought you some peace and some value. And if it did, I would really appreciate if you can go ahead and rate this podcast so more souls like us can hear this message. And as I said, if you want to go and dive deeper, this 3-day free Break the Matrix is truly going to be, if I even, I could go deeper, but the challenge and the event is going to go way deeper. And we're going to talk about things that are just life-changing, truly, truly, truly. So go ahead, sign up, join us. And with that, my loves, enjoy the rest of your day wherever you're listening. And I'll see you in our next episode. Bye.